Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Well, hello. Oh, I love a matchy match Tuesday right here on Run It Back, FanDuel TV. My name's Michelle. We got Stadium Insider Sham Charania, Chandler P, Lou Will on the end. Guys, look at us. We're sort of becoming one. How does that feel? Like what?
It's the thing, Blacked Out Tuesdays.
I like it. We're making it a thing. It's a thing. We're going to start with some basketball today. Don't love this first game, but I understand why we're talking about it. Warriors at Spurs. No Steph Curry. 112-102 win for Golden State. Chris Paul with 19, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Kuminga with 22. That was fun right there. And Wemby had his 27 and 14. But this was a very vintage Chris Paul performance. We've talked so much about him coming off the bench, play, and all that good stuff. But you don't have Steph right now. So, Chandler, is he a difference maker while they wait it out?
Yeah, for sure. And this was nice to see Chris Paul have one of these vintage games where he was in control. He was the playmaker. He picked his spots where he could be aggressive. 1998, if he could get anything close to this, when you have a season like this and you're kind of dragged through the media and everyone's talking about how it's not your year, you're older, the dynasty's over, you find anything to make a bright spot and give this team energy and a push towards the end of the season. And that's what Chris Paul he did last night. So if they can build off this and he can continue to have these productive games, it's going to help because, again, we always talk about Steph and his usage rate. Is he doing too much? Is he playing too much? He's banged up. When you get a balanced attack like this, where Wiggins has 16, Kuminga has 22, CP 19, Thompson 21, when you get a balanced attack like that, first of all, it makes you that much harder to guard. And when you have Chris Paul controlling the pick and roll, everyone's moving, everyone's touching it. It's a fun way to play basketball. So as big of a hole as Steph Curry is when he's gone, when you can get kind of 4, 5, 6 guys in double digits and you can get Chris Paul playing like this to protecting the ball, not turning it over, it's huge for them. And this is something moving forward that they know Chris Paul still has enough in the tank to go out and have games like this and carry a team to a win, even when Steph Curry is out.
You want to add anything, Lou? Are you seeing enough in Chris Paul and what he brings that the postseason, this could be an X factor?
Yeah, and Chandler can attest to this. When guys go out with injuries, you know you don't have a sub. So you're playing with house money. You can go out there, play free, play loose, and be yourself. So this was great to see Chris Paul having a great night out there, especially being injured majority of the season. So to go out there, play with a lot of confidence and will them to a win against a struggling Spurs team, I think this was good for them.
So, Lou, I'm going to start with you on this next one. Chandler mentioned Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins, another different starting lineup. They had their 37 points combined. This is their 21st, by the way, different starting lineup for this Warriors team. If this is what they go with, let's just start there. How does it change the outlook of this team in this final stretch?
Well, this should be the standard, right? Like they expect Klay Thompson to play really good basketball. They expect Andrew Wiggins to be effective on both ends of the floor. So these are two guys that they paid handsomely to do exactly what they did last night. Unfortunately, it's been only a sample size for the season. You know, they should be more consistent. And so if they can get all three of these guys, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, all on the same page, along with the season that Steph Curry is having, they can be disruptive come playoff time. You know, looking at the standings, they're going to be in the play-in unless something catastrophic happens and Houston catches them 5 games behind to get in that 10 spot. You know, they're going to be in the play-in. So they're going to have an opportunity to be disruptive to a lot of these different teams. So if they can get all of these guys on the right page, it could be scary for a lot of those top seeds.
Yeah, and Lou, they're only doing this because of the struggles, because of Andrew Wiggins having the season he's having, because the up and downs with Klay Thompson, because Draymond Green being in and out of the lineup. So I'm sure they want consistency. I'm sure Steve Kerr wants the same starting lineup. And, you know, obviously with Steph Curry in there and Chris Paul, you then have Chris Paul carrying that second unit with those young guys and Steph Curry starting. This should be their starting lineup. These are their 5 best players. This is their team. Kuminga is the bright spot of the future. You mix him in with these championship DNA guys. So this should be their starting lineup. It's just, you know, throughout the course of this season, injuries and suspensions and things like that, Steve Kerr's hand has been kind of forced to adapt and adjust and kind of go on the fly and make some changes. But when you see these guys clicking like they did last night, I think they had a 19-0 run to start the second half last night. They were moving the ball. They were causing turnovers or getting out transition. They looked like the old school Warriors last night, and that's without Steph Curry. So, again, I think there's a lot of panic, and because they've set the bar so high. The expectations are so high for this team, for these three guys in particular, that when they do have, bad games, bad weeks, bad months, and they're in the 10th seed, it's like, whoa, we didn't ever expected the Warriors to be here. But this should be their lineup going forward. Chris Paul being healthy, being productive on that second unit with Podziemski, with Trace Jackson Davis, who has been a real bright spot for them to find him at the end of the draft. This should be their method going forward.
Yeah, the Steph Curry of it all, Shobbs. Look, there's no good time for an injury, but when you lose a guy like Steph at this point in the season, when you're playing for everything, it can't be great. He's now missed both games against the Spurs. Any word on when we can expect him back on a court?
Yeah, you thought timing-wise this was the perfect moment for him to miss these games, right? 2 back-to-back games against the Spurs, but then you go 1-1 against the Spurs. Now you play the Mavericks on Wednesday in Dallas, and Steve Kerr said last night it's not expected that Steph Curry will play, so that would leave the Lakers against the Lakers on Saturday in LA as the next available opportunity for Steph Curry to make a return. I'm told it's not a super serious ankle sprain, but it is an ankle sprain that would cost him some time, so we're already going to be at least 3 games if he sits out Wednesday. So we'll see. Is a week a good enough amount of time for him to be ready to go by Saturday? I think they're going to try to be cautious with it, but Steph Curry's going to want to play once it gets Saturday, especially because of how meaningful that game's going to be. That 9-10 matchup in the play-in tournament, that could very well be something that we see as a preview going to the play-in tournament.
But also,
it's going to be a big one.
Like Lou said, they have a 5-game cushion, right? So if it's another 2 games, 3 games, another week for Steph Curry to get that ankle right, I don't see a reason for him to rush. I think they know that they're in the play, and Houston's not going to make a 5-game comeback with what's left. So if I'm him, I'm getting fully healthy. I'm leaving enough time, a week, 2 weeks, whatever that is for him to get back, to get on the floor, and to get ready to play, the Lakers or the Mavericks or whoever this is going to be, because it's going to be one and done. So that to me is more important than him rushing back now and having this ankle linger into the play-in.
So you're not rushing to get back to play the Lakers over the weekend. It's fine.
No, I'd rather be fully healthy and play when it matters.
Fair enough. Chandler, being the ass that you are, you sent a message to the thread last night. When this moment happened.
I mean, listen, we praise this cat all the time, every day, and he had a great game last night. But
sure.
Trace Jackson Davis put him on an absolute poster. And when you watch it, he did kind of cuff his right arm right here. So he did get away with a little offensive foul. But that's a nasty play. My boy James Dunleavy reps him. He believed them. He got him to a great situation, a.k.a. with his brother late in the second round. And he's been a real bright spot for the Warriors. And this kid's got a real future. He does all the little things. He's so bouncy. And this is a nasty play. Luke, come on. This is on the That Man Has a Family segment. It gets his own segment.
Listen, I kind of want to disagree with you. I think this is clean. I don't even think he used the off arm. This is a clean dunk. Let me check him out.
Right arm. Watch that right arm.
All right.
That's a nice dunk. You're gonna get banged on though. When you go for blocks on every play, you're gonna get. By
the way, that's the one thing a shot blocker has to realize is you're going to get dunked on 20 to 30% of the time. But 70% of the time, you're going to have nice blocks. You're going to save the day. But there's going to be some embarrassing moments like this. It's part of the game.
Yeah. And look, everybody wants a piece of Wemby. Yeah, the bench is ridiculous. No, it's good. That's a pretty good dunk. Shams, Pop said last night, unsure whether or not Wemby would be playing tonight. Any word on that?
Good news for San Antonio. Victor Wembanyama, the expectation is he will be playing tonight in this back-to-back against the Rockets at home. And I think the ankle is doing well. We'll see how many minutes he ends up playing. I think all that's going to depend on the flow of the game, how his ankle feels as the game goes on. But Victor Wembanyama said last night he feels like he owes it to his teammate, he owes it to his team, the organization, to be available every single night. So the expectation, the plan is that he will be playing tonight on the back-to-back. And you think about his last 10 games, these numbers right here, 23.4 points a game, 11.9 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 5.2 blocks, 2 steals, 49% field goal percentage, 41% from three-point range over these last 10 games. You're starting to see him separate himself from the pack, and I think you have to put a lot of credit into how much he's actually playing. And he's finishing the year strong at a moment where a lot of some rookies are tailing off. But you see him and Chet Holmgren right now, they're at another level when you think about rookies in this class, as well as Brandon Miller. That
rookie wall doesn't exist for Wemby, I'll tell you that.
No, he's out there. By the way, I just like to put it in the universe every morning. Quadruple double. We're gonna get one, and I need it to be him. Moving on, Suns. It's gonna happen, and I really hope it does. For selfish reasons. Suns, Cavs. Wow, we got the big three back. Don't look now. Combined for 88 points, a win over Cleveland. Kevin Durant 37-8. Devin Booker with 27, 7 assists, and Bradley Beal with his 24. Devin Booker is back from the ankle sprain, and they combined for those 88. If Chandler, we could keep this big three on that court, how much damage are they capable of doing come playoffs?
A lot. And then when you get the big three like you got last night, I know the Cavs are banged up. They're missing 3 starters, and they've been dealing with their own issues. But this is what makes this team so scary. I don't want to play this team 4 to 7 times in the playoffs when they have 3 guys that can go and get you 40 on any given night. And you have guys like Grayson Allen have a career year. You have Nurkic that's been, just dominating the glass, having a hell of a season too. But this is what makes them the scariest team, I think, in the NBA. They're not the best. Celtics, Nuggets, I think they're better teams. But when you get them rolling like this and you get them in the playoffs, you can't stop them. You can't stop everything. You can't double team KD or Booker, because then the other 2 are going to have wide open shots. When you have a guy like Grayson Allen, who's arguably the best shooter in the NBA this year, he's getting more open looks than he ever and he's taken full advantage of it. So it's tough. And this is why Frank Vogel is sitting here after the game saying, listen, we can be really elite. And I believe him, because they haven't been on the floor that much. And when they are, and they have games like this, you're like, God damn, this is something special. So I hope they stay healthy, because the Western Conference is stacked as it is. I think this team has a chance to be a top, Clippers, Nuggets, and them. I've said that for the last couple of months now. It's those 3 teams to me. And that's no disrespect to the Timberwolves. It's no disrespect to the Thunder. I just trust these 3 older, experienced teams more. And the talent, the offensive firepower of the Phoenix, it's undeniable. So when they get going like this, like I said, you can't take away every option. Someone's going to eat that night, and you can't control all of them.
Lou, look, I don't even know that we're purposely disrespecting the Pelicans, but Chandler mentioned Nuggets, Clippers, Suns. And the Suns, as we know, we haven't gotten to see the big 3 over and over and over again. But for you, I know you're a big Clippers. You've got them going through the West. You giving this Suns team a chance at all?
Hell yeah! When they play like this, you gotta be mindful of what you're seeing. You're seeing 3 of the most elite mid-range players of all time, and playoff basketball comes down to half-court offense. So when you got 3 weapons like that you can post up, you can play in the mid-post, in the mid-range that can face up and make shots over guys, make tough shots, and can play together, you're going to have a very dangerous team. And so I look forward to it. My only problem with this Phoenix Suns team, we just hadn't seen enough of it. Can they be very dangerous? Sure, but right now we're looking at that lion in the glass. We need the glass to be broken right now and put some real fear in these teams. And they got to start putting a run together where you're like, oh, they're dead serious. This is a for real team. Because right now we've only seen it in spurts. We hadn't seen the consistency being a big 3 and a great team. But if they can do what they did last night and put pressure on teams like this come postseason, it's going to be a scary sight for anybody matching up with the Phoenix Suns.
What's crazy, Lou, is they were getting smacked in the second. They were down, I think, 20 points, but they're all like I said, those 3 guys, I think they went on like a 45-10 run or something, because you cannot stop them. So they're never out of a game. I don't care if they're down 8, if they're down 28, like they are never out of the game. So that is a luxury to have this much offensive firepower with really good role players like the Royce O'Neals, like the Nurkic. So they're in a really good spot. If they can stay healthy, I'm telling you, Lou, like if they get the 3 seed and the Minnesota Timberwolves or Thunder are 6 seed versus the 3 seed, you got them beating them in the playoffs?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Like I said, It's gonna come down to half court offense. And who would you want better than Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant to be the guys that you say, okay, the game is slowing down a little bit. We need a bucket every time down the floor. Close your eyes and pick one of those guys, man. They're gonna get a bucket.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, literally, it does not matter. And there's no three defenders on any team that can match up with those three offensive players. So, like you said, it's crazy, and we're just now kind of seeing it. We haven't seen it all year just because of injuries, but it's especially in the playoffs. You know, when it slows down the half court, you can't take away every option. So if they're all three cooking like they did last night, they're not losing many games.
They're gonna have a mismatch no matter who they're playing. One of the three of those guys are gonna have a mismatch. You know, a lot of teams you might have one or two elite defenders. Nobody has three. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has three elite defenders. Somebody is going to have a field day every single game in the playoffs.
It is crazy how much more different it is when Booker's out there, because we saw Durant over the weekend trying to get it all done and he had a monster game and it was a loss. And now you put Devin Booker back in and like you guys are saying, there's no stopping him. Kevin Durant, by the way, at 35 years old, let's not underestimate what it is he's been doing so far. He's averaging 28.5 points. He's shooting almost 53% from the field and 42.5% from three. Are we not talking enough, Lou, about KD and the season he's having?
We he should be getting more attention. I think he's a victim of just being quiet. You know, when you look at Luka, you look at Joker, and you look at what SGA has been able to accomplish over this season. They got really big, gaudy, historical numbers. And then you throw in a Wemby as well, who's a rookie, who's changing the landscape of the league as well. Kevin Durant has only did one thing. He's been consistent. He's done his job. And tried to give the Phoenix Suns an opportunity to win games each and every night that he's been healthy. So I think he's having a consistent season, but he's just a victim of other guys being a lot louder and a lot more gaudy.
And it's crazy. Is 53% from the field. The shots he takes, it's not like they're easy. He's posting up off the block. He stepped back. He's taking long threes. And Kevin Durant, he's on the floor. He's played 58 games. And no matter what, talk shit, say what you want about him going to super teams. He went to the Warriors. He's the best player on that team. He now went to the Suns, this big three with Devin Booker. He's the best player on this team. So everywhere he goes, he's the guy. Everywhere he goes, he carries the load. And everywhere he goes, he puts up MVP, first team, all NBA type numbers. So the guy's unbelievable. He's been doing it forever. And the fact that he's healthy and he's been in the lineup when Devin's been out, when Bradley Beal's been out, he's been the guy consistently for this team. So he's having a great year. He's having an efficient year. Like I said, 53 and 43%. That's insane because he's getting doubled. He's taking step backs. He's not taking high percent shots, yet he's shooting a high percentage. So we're not talking about him just because SGA and Jokic and Luka are putting up these nuts numbers, but this guy is all NBA and we should be talking about him more. If the Suns were winning more and if they were healthy this season, we would be talking about them more because they would be a top 3 team in the West.
It only takes 5 minutes of watching a Suns game to remind yourself, like, oh, that's right. He's fun to watch. I like watching Kevin Durant. Your biggest takeaway, Shams, from this win for Phoenix?
I mean, I think we've hit on it. Kevin Durant, a massive season. And just think about it. In 2019, he has the Achilles tear. And now he's in his age 35 season. He's got the most 30-point games for a player in his 35 years of age. Like, what he's doing this season is remarkable, especially the last 4 games or so. He's been taking it up in even another level with Devin Booker out. 38 points a night, 54% from the field, 47% from three. So he's doing everything. This team is 19-9 since January 8th. And even though they've played 41 games this year without the big three, just 24 with them, I think these next few weeks, it's like just building momentum with those 3 in the lineup. You have to have them. And they've struggled down the stretch of some of these games. And like Lou and Chandler know, a lot of that is because they haven't built that level of consistency. Well, now you have a stretch of about a month. If these guys can stay healthy, build some momentum and chemistry down the stretch of games, learning how to close games out, the last thing you want to do is put yourself in situations where these 3 guys are having to close games out for the 4th or 5th times in the playoffs. They can do it. They have the talent, but a lot of that comes through chemistry, repetition, and hopefully they get that opportunity over the next month.
Bubble wrap and ice. Chandler, Cavs, look, it was a really good feel-good story, but unfortunately for them, they're 5-7 in their last 12. Bucks seem to have figured some things out. We know Boston's dominant. Is the Eastern Conference really just Boston and Milwaukee in your mind?
Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I love JB Bickerstaff and I love this young team. They just haven't been healthy. They haven't, even last night they have three. They have Strus, they have Mobley, they have Donovan Mitchell, and when they were fully healthy, let's not forget about that run that they went on where they got real hot and jumped all the way up to the second seed. But they've just been too inconsistent. They left a bad taste in our mouth last year in the playoffs, losing to the first round to the Knicks, and we thought they'd kind of make that jump early, and they just didn't. And they haven't been healthy, which is a huge issue, obviously. When you're missing three starters, you know how hard that is to go out there and compete and win games. So Donovan Mitchell's their everything. And now he's missed, I think, his 18th game last night, to where he's had a great year. But when you miss that many games, it's hard to get in a flow. It's hard to get in a rhythm. And this team has the talent. They have the youth. I hope Donovan Mitchell stays around, because I think this nucleus in this core can be very, very good in the future. But when you look at this, it's even the up and downs with Milwaukee, the coaching change, Doc, they're a better team, and the Boston Celtics are a way better team. So I think they'll get a favorable matchup in the first round. Doesn't look like, the Knicks or the Magic will catch them. So they're going to lock up the 3 seed there. Then we'll see. Then they can get a Philly. They can get a Pacers now with Mather announced. So they should at least get that playoff experience, advance in the second round. Then who knows? Then we'll see what happens. But they got to be healthy to have any sort of chance.
The Donovan Mitchell of it all, Lou, is a bummer. It's his 7th straight game that he's missed. But the bigger issue here is the fact that he's now missed 18. Which brings back the old topic of eligibility for postseason awards. He is now ineligible for all NBA, despite the numbers that he's had, which is averaging about 28 a game, 5th in the NBA, all of these great numbers, but he's out. So we're going to talk that topic again, and I'm sure it's going to come up numerous more times. But what are your thoughts on the fact that he is no longer eligible for that?
I'm torn, because as a former player, anybody can play really well for a stretch of games or for a stretch of the season, and then they can fall off, and then they kind of come back to earth, and reality sets in. But on the flip side of it, it's like you miss a quarter of the season, and you can come back, and then your legs are healthy, your body feels good, so you can put a lot of pressure on teams, and you can have really big nights, because the NBA season, it comes down to traveling, it comes down to wear and tear, it comes down to so many different things outside of basketball that can give you a competitive advantage. And so I think Donovan Mitchell is an all NBA talent, but with these new rules, I don't know. I'm torn, because like I said, again, you can miss 20 games. Anybody can play well for 55, 50 games and put yourself in that position. The special guys that set themselves apart, those are going to be the guys that play 70 to 75 games, and they've been able to do it over the course of the season and being consistent. And so I'm torn. He's an all NBA guy, but the rules are the rules. So it's a little weird for me.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I understand what the NBA is doing. They want the star players on the court. They want them to play the majority of the games and to reach these bonuses where they get paid, fat checks at the end from their shoe deals. What's going to bother me is okay, Donovan Mitchell misses 18 games, so he's ineligible, but Steph Curry misses 17 and he's eligible. When that happens, there's going to be this gray area where okay, the threshold is the 1 game difference, and one guy's eligible and one guy's not. And that's going to happen. But again, those are the rules. They've been established. Guys know this. So I don't know if it's a great thing that you're telling basically these guys, if you want to be rewarded for all these rewards after the season, you have to play through certain injuries, because then if they get worse and then you miss the playoffs, and you miss the most important games of the year, that's going to be a whole nother bag of worms. But again, it's like Lou said, you can get hot for 2-3 months, but it's the guys that play the 5-6 months, that play 75 plus games, that they deserve it more. So if there's a guy that's averaging 26 and 6 and 5 and he played 80 games, he's probably more deserving than Donovan Mitchell, who's going to miss 20 or so games. So I can see both sides, but it's going to be really annoying when one guy plays one more game than the other and that guy gets rewarded all NBA.
Yeah, mathematically it's going to happen. And then we're going to have that conversation as soon as it does. Guys, around the league we go. Jokic, woohoo! 35 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists, leads his team to a 21-point comeback win over Toronto, 125-119. 21st triple-double for Jokic, and 126th of his career. He also had 6 steals, if you want to keep track of that as well. But I'll go ahead and say it, Lou. We're numb. I mean, I know I am, because when I go and open up my FanDuel app, for me, it's a given that he gets a triple-double, which is a good thing, but it also feels like, what a world to live in that we assume he's going to get another triple-double. Are we a little bit numb?
No, we're very numb. And Shams, do we have scoops?
Do we have scoops?
We don't have anything. It's an alert for me to call someone, though. So I'm going to make that call after this show.
It's coming.
We're working on a scoop. All right. But listen, we're so numb to it. I think this works in SGA's favor for MVP. Call me crazy. This is going to be a hot take. But because this is so normal, I think we're bored to it. We're just like, okay, another great game from the Joker. This is what he does. And then if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does anything remotely close to this, we're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The young guy in OKC Thunder are turning the corner. That's how we are. I think that's just how we're programmed to be. He's playing at such a high level so consistently. It's just like, okay, another big night for the Joker.
That's insane, though, Chandler. It has to be insane to think that way.
I mean, the voter fatigue thing, it's real, right? Like it's the same stuff every single game. And it's unbelievable. I will call Luke crazy because I think it's Jokic's MVP, and I think it's not even close. I think he's going to win it, and which is insane. It's going to put his resume at such an insane high level. But we do get numb to it. We get numb to all these new historic offensive stats that we're seeing every single night. Think about it. We're talking about a quadruple double. Like, we're just waiting on it to happen because we know it's going to happen soon. It's crazy. So when you see 35, 17, and 12, like, and it's consistent. There's guys that have had great years that this would be their best game of their career. And this guy does it every single night. Like, I would have got a max contract off this one game. I got a couple of them that I never even sniffed the stat line like this.
What would you do for a 35, 17, and 12? Like, I'd give my left arm.
I would have my agent just play this game over and over again until they paid me a huge bag. But you're right. We are getting numb because he does it so often. He does it efficient. The guy's damn near shooting 60% from the field. Like, it's unbelievable what he's doing. Like I said, that stat line, that would rock my socks off if I saw that a couple of years ago. And now it's like, oh yeah, Jokic played good. How many did Murray have? And Mug Porter. It's crazy. I don't even bat an eye at this cat's stats.
God, we're brats. Sports fans are brats. We're just spoiled and rotten. But guess what? Another guy that's got a lot of numbers coming up next, because it's Luka. Are we bored with him too? He had 27 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists, his 7th straight 20-point triple-double. That ties the NBA record for consecutive 20-point triple-dubs, snapping a streak of 6 straight with at least 30 in a triple-double. They did beat Chicago very, very easily, but he checked out midway through the 4th quarter. Lou, should J. Kidd have left him in just to, get a couple more and get that 30?
Nah, get him out. Get him out of there, because chasing that. Listen, I've been on the other side of this. Playoffs, I was on the Sixers, and they were up about 20-25 with about 2.5, 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter to game 1 of the playoffs, and Derrick Rose tore his ACL, and that eventually led to us upsetting the Chicago Bulls in the first round of the playoffs. So you don't want to leave a guy in and risk it based on numbers. Luka got plenty of stats. He doesn't need another 30. So no, get him out of there.
Yeah, it's a fireable offense if you leave him in there smacking a team and he gets hurt. So I think there's a bigger picture here for Luka and the Mavs. And look, he's got plenty of time to break and to set his own records. They're thinking postseason. This is the time of season where you don't play around with these type of things. You get the win, you get off, you get iced, and you get ready for the next game. You try and get the highest possible seed. This isn't about chasing records. And the Mavs faithful, they got on me the last couple of days because I said it must be exhausting playing with Luka. It's not an insult to
everybody this year, Chandler.
I'm just saying it's not an insult to Luka. I think the Mavs, to be the best team they could be, they have to be balanced like the Warriors were last night. They have to have Gaffer. They have to have Jones, Tim Hardaway. They have to have all them contributing and wanting to feel wanted and to needed to have the ball. And so the shit Luka's doing with the basketball, it's unbelievable. Him and Jokic are so similar, just the way they can't be sped up, the way they get everyone involved. And by the way, when I say exhausting to play with him, I'm saying watching the same. My best years with James Harden, it was exhausting to play with him, just watch him do the same things over again. It was awesome. And I averaged the most points I ever did playing with the guy, even though he was very ball dominant and his usage rate was through the roof. All I'm saying is for the Mavs to reach that next level, I think they have to be more balanced, and they can't depend on Luka doing this every single night. It's hard to do. It's really hard to do for one individual to sustain this. So listen, I'm hyped for him. I think he's
You offend somebody every show. I think
But is he
just
wrong?
He's not wrong.
I really don't think
That's
I'm
the great
wrong
part
in
about
this
it.
case. I really don't think I'm wrong.
either.
You're not wrong.
Chandler's right because the Mavericks, when they win at a high level, it's when all these guys contribute, and they're just not going to be a championship team if it's just Luka Doncic going for 30-point triple doubles.
Yeah.
That's not their recipe. The recipe is Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr., Lively, Gafford, PJ Washington. They have, I think Chandler said it the other day, they have probably as deep of a team, well-rounded of a team as they've had around Luka Doncic in the last few years. And, you know, he was a big proponent of getting PJ Washington in that trade. And I think Luka Doncic wants to win. And I think this team is just about figuring out and really handling the rotations the right way, tightening up on defense. But I mean, Chandler's right.
And by the way, when they do have this balanced attack and when the floor opens up like that, Luka's going to naturally still have these stats with everybody else getting theirs too. So I think when you see like back in the day, the James, the Westbrook, when they just dominate the ball, it gets a little stagnant. It gets a little boring for teammates. So when, like you just said, Shams, when guys are in the ball's moving, it's zipping, you're playing offense like you're supposed to do, everyone's touching it, everyone's happy. That's when you start winning at an elite level.
So back to the point. Imagine the message that J Kidd is sending if he leaves Luka in there to try to get a 30-point game, right? You got a big lead. Let somebody else get theirs off. Get out of here, Luka. You know what I'm saying? This is a team sport.
Yeah, J Kidd leaves him in. He's basically saying Luka's individual records are more important than us winning and being healthy in the playoffs, which you just can't do.
You can't risk it. Shams, now we're just going to bug you as soon as you leave us to find out what it is you're about to do and call back. But we say goodbye. We'll see you bright and early in the morning. Thank you, sir. We'll be back with a little Who You Got with Chandler and Lou on Run It Back.
Run it up, run it back, yeah.
Little Who You Got for the guys. Two choices. You pick one. First up, better rookie season. I'll be honest, this feels like a win-win for everybody involved. So, Victor Wembanyama versus Tim Duncan. Now, Timmy D was a little older. His team was a lot more established when he got there.
No.
We know Victor's a kid, but let's go. Talk to me.
No. Don't do that.
What are you, Victor's agent?
Don't do that, Beadle. You're leading the witness here. You're leading the witness.
I'm just pointing it out in case y'all forgot. It wasn't on the screen. Lou?
It's clearly Tim Duncan. It's clearly Tim Duncan. He was an all-star his rookie year. Allowed them to get to the second round of the playoffs. Victor Wembanyama's not going to sniff the playoffs. Went on to win a championship in his second season. Maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel for Victor Wembanyama if this is the standard being set. But this is clear. It's clearly Tim Duncan.
Yeah, it's a different era, it's a different time. But the guy also played every single game. He played 82 games his rookie year and played damn near 40 minutes. That matters. And they won, like Lou said, I think they beat Phoenix in the playoffs, and they went on to win a championship their second year. I know we're talking rookie year, but I don't think San Antonio's going to do that next year. But it's as special as Wemby is, even the numbers alone, Tim Duncan's are better. But the future is bright in San Antonio, Michelle. The future is very, very bright.
Like I said, very rare that we have a choice on this show where I like both of them. So win-win. Woohoo! Go Spurs, go. Moving on. More impressive streak. I love a good streak. Domantas Sabonis, you are up on this one. Your 46-game double-double streak. That's kind of insane. Or Luka Doncic's 7 straight 20-point triple-double, but 6 of those were 30 points. Chandler, you're up first.
It's a tough one because they're both really, really insane. The 46 games, that's damn near half a season. This Cash is throwing in doubles every single night. I think it's harder to do what Luka's doing with that clip of triple doubles and 6 of them being with 30 points, and it could be even more if they weren't, blowing teams out. Wow, this one's tough though, man. This one's
good
really,
one, right?
Again, stats are so magnified now where there's a little bit watered down. I feel like with the usage rate and it's you could argue either way. Wow, Lou, I don't know what to go here with.
I know, Lou.
Okay, listen, he's supposed to get 10 rebounds every game. So I'm going with Luka's 7 straight 20-point triple doubles. Sabonis is, yeah, you can easily get.
He's slacking. Is that what you're saying? He's slacking.
It's true. As a big, if you're playing 25,
10 rebounds, like that's something you should do every night. If you're a marquee center in this league, you're gonna get 4 or 5 rebounds just by being in the right position. So for Luka to have 20-point triple doubles and 6 or 30s, give me that. I'll take that for sure.
If Sabonis didn't have one game where he didn't, or one game where he came out of the game, 46 straight is a crazy clip. But you're right. I think with Luka, the triple doubles and the 6 straight 30-point triple doubles, that's literally a record. It's never happened before. That's got to be more impressive.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. We need some merch. All right, moving on. We got some numbers for you guys to consume, digest, process. Here we go. Better season. SGA or the 13-14 MVP season for KD. This one's interesting, guys. I was reading it as I was doing it as well. Chandler, you want to go first?
Yeah, what's interesting here is, again, I look at what happened that season, which I shouldn't, because the award is given before that. And the Thunder that year went to the conference finals, and I don't think the Thunder are going to do that. So I think KD's season, was better, because I think he's going to go. He went further than I think the Thunder go. They're both insane season. And by the way, I think SGA is going to finish second in MVP voting behind, one of the greatest centers of all time of our generation. So again, you could go either way here. I like that the Thunder went to the conference finals. I think these awards should be given after the season. So when you see what actually happens, because winning is a huge part of definitely the MVP. Talk about rookie of the year, whatever, not mattering. MVP matters winning. So like if the Celtics happen to blow through the playoffs and then Tatum is unbelievable for those 2 months in the playoffs, I think he should deserve some real MVP consideration. So it could go either way here. The numbers are spooky similar here, but I have to go Kevin Durant.
I'll die on my SGA sword, and I'll just say SGA. I think Kevin Durant was always Kevin Durant, right? Like coming into the league, he's always had an expectation of excellence. We haven't had that for SGA. People are still kind of surprised and shell-shocked that he's having the season that he's had. He hadn't had the fanfare coming into the league that Kevin Durant had. So that MVP season, I think, was expected. And I think what SGA is doing, it's an amazing feat for him to be put in the position to even be in this MVP conversation. So I'll give it to SGA.
I'd love to go back, have some researcher person do this and look at all the MVPs and then take the context of how those teams finished ultimately in the postseason and see if it would have been the same if we did what Chandler said and gave it after everything, which I also don't disagree. I know. I wonder how many of those would not have worked out the way it did. All right, more important player for the Lakers as we head down this final stretch. I'm just reversing the order on everything. Is it LeBron James or Anthony Davis, Lou?
It's going to be AD. You know exactly what you're going to get out of LeBron. LeBron is going to show up and show out. AD has to be the aggressive bully that we've been seeing in these last couple of weeks. Maybe he's gotten to a point in his career where he's bored with the regular season. You kind of see that with veteran guys. If they've had success at the top of the mountain and won a championship, you kind of coast through the regular season until it's time to start revving it up and you're turning that corner, you flip that light switch on and it's go time. And I think that's what we're seeing from Anthony Davis. So for them to move forward, for them to be the dangerous team that we think they are, he's going to be the most important player.
X Factor. You agree, Chandler?
Yeah, I do. I agree. And I think LeBron's not in his prime. Anthony Davis is. This is his team. He showed the other night, he can dominate a game. He can impose his will. He can clean up the glass. He's so talented. He's going to score his points. He's going to get his rebounds, but he can impact the game so much more defensively, altering shots, help side defense. So I think he needs to be the guy where, again, like Lou said, LeBron's going to get his. LeBron's going to get out in transition. He's going to get downhill. He's going to hit these crazy step back threes. He's going to have 25, 8, and 8 after every game. Doesn't matter. Anthony Davis is the X factor where he's got to have these 25 and 15, 30 and 20. And he's capable of doing that. And we always talk about it. We criticize him a lot because we know it's in there and we just want to see it more often.
This last one, I feel like we're trying to start a fight here, and our producers chose violence this morning, but we're going to go historical. Peak Kobe versus peak T-Mac. Got a lot of numbers for you if you want. They're right there below, Lou, but go on. Talk to me.
I didn't even see this one on the script.
I know, and yeah. Lou said, I can already tell from Lou's face what's happening here.
Humor me, Chandler. Let's hear what you got to say. My face is
I'm an Orlando Magic fan. I had every T-Mac shoe in the book. This shit isn't even close. I love T-Mac, but Kobe is one of the greatest. He's a different dude, multiple champion, played defense. It's not even close. And T-Mac was special. T-Mac was so tall and long. He could go get a bucket. He had crazy highlights. But yeah, this one I feel like is clickbait here. I don't even want to touch this one.
Oh, wow.
I'll just say Kobe and leave it at that.
Kobe. All right, it's all Kobe. Well, you know what? We just wanted to shout out T-Mac because the numbers are impressive, but what are we
Did you ever have the T-Mac shoe? Lou, I used to wear one blue, one red one. Remember those T-Macs? Did you ever have those? Were so dope.
I was a Nike guy through and through, but I love watching the guys playing the T-Macs, and then they were mixing and matching. The padded leather blue ones you talking about with the 3 stripes across the top?
By the way, do you guys donate those? What?
Did you know him and Vince Carter are actual cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you know the sky is blue? What's wrong with you, bro? what?
I don't know. I thought I just dropped a little fun fact.
Taylor's always late to the party, man.
Did you know Trace Jackson Davis is Dale Davis's son?
Yes. Anything else you want to share? Go. Whatever, you know what? Let's take a break. We'll get more fun facts out of Chandler on the other side of this one. When Run It Back returns.
I had the chicken cross the road.
All right, you buying that? Charles Barkley, woohoo! He said that to fix the depth problem that Boston has in their bench, they should bring Porzingis off the bench. Chandler, you buying that?
No, I'm not buying that. I think he's had a great year. He's putting up great numbers. He's perfect complement to be able to pick and pop, stretch the floor, space the defense out. I think what they should do is sign someone like a Malik Monk, sign a deeper, better bench. I don't think you disregard KP for having a great year, moving him to the bench. I think you keep their starting lineup as one of the more elite, just like Denver. Their bench isn't great. You're not just going to all of a sudden start Aaron Gordon. So I disagree with this. I think KP's having a great year, and I think their starting 5 is good enough to win a championship this year with their weak bench. So I don't see the need for this.
Only time will tell. Chandler, Lou, you're up next. Carmelo Anthony believes that only Anthony Edwards and Jason Tatum could be the faces of the league. What? Are you buying that?
Nah, I'm not buying that. For him to say only, they're going to be 2 of them, but you got SGA, you got Wemby, you got the Chets. Luka is still considered a young guy. We don't talk enough about Paolo down in Orlando. It's a lot of guys that can potentially be the face of this league. So these 2 guys is a great start, but not the only 2. So nope, not buying.
Yeah, that word only is a little bit weird. Chandler, Magic coach Jamal Mosley said that Paolo Banchero can pass like LeBron and score like Carmelo. You buying that?
Yeah, this is what David Fizdale said about me when I signed in Memphis too. That's what head coaches do. They gas. Listen, I love Mose. I think he just signed a 4-year extension today too, so he's going to be there for a while. This is what he should do. Gas up your franchise player. He is a hell of a talent. I see similarities in those 2 guys. But whoa, let's pump the brakes a little bit. But that's nice. I love that my coach is saying shit like this.
Well, yeah, beats the alternative. I'm saying nothing or worse. Lou, you're up next. Ty Lue said that Jalen Green and Cam Whitmore remind him of when T-Mac and Vince Carter, who are cousins, got to Toronto. Are you buying that comparison?
I'm not buying, and no disrespect, but I'm not very familiar with Cam Whitmore as I was with T-Mac when T-Mac came in the league, and the things that he and Vince were able to do in Toronto. Like, they were so good together in Toronto. Them being cousins was a footnote. They were establishing themselves individually. Like, so it wasn't that's Vince Carter's cousin. No, that was Tracy McGrady. You understand what I'm saying? And so
Yep.
Whitmore here, he got some more proving to do. Jalen Green got some more proving to do. If we're just talking about them guys playing over the rim, okay, cool, sure. But the totality of their talent and what they were able to accomplish, nah, I ain't buying.
If we find out that Jalen Green and Cam Whitmore are cousins, my head's gonna explode.
Okay, now that would be breaking news, Chandler. If you could bring that to us tomorrow, that's huge. Work on that. Maybe that's what Shams' call is. Chandler, Gilbert Arenas. Oh, I love a sentence that starts with Gilbert Arenas says, LeBron was a rental for greatness and that his, quote, Laker resume doesn't have a statue. You buying that LeBron ain't getting a statue in LA?
Well, I'll say this. I think if he signs an extension, he stays there longer, it's going to help his case. But no, it's a pretty long rental. He got a championship. He's broke crazy records there. I think he's going to get a statue. He's arguably the greatest player of all time. Me and Lou think he's the greatest player of all time. So the fact that he's been on the Lakers for this long, brought a championship to them, has put up insane numbers. He's doing at 39 years old what nobody else will probably do in that Laker uniform, in any uniform. The guy is getting a statue.
I gotta follow this. I'm sorry. You don't think the Los Angeles Lakers are gonna claim the all-time leading scorer? They're gonna let Cleveland claim him? No chance. He gets a statue.
And there will be no spelling errors on his statue either. This will be perfectly done.
There's no way the Lakers let this walk out of their building. No way.
Can we just spelling check all statues from now on? It's not hard. The mistakes on the Kobe one are disgusting. James Harden, Chandler, said that he would shave his beard for a championship. Are you buying that?
Have you seen pictures of James Harden without the beard?
Unrecognizable.
Listen, I'm pulling for the Clippers because I would love to see this. So,
Yes.
you know, I'll shave my beard if the Clippers win a
We're all
championship. Just
shaving our beards.
I would love to see it, and I buy it. Listen, James Harden's a first ballot Hall of Famer. All he needs is this championship. So I love him to go off the beard. He's got a great opportunity at the Clippers. I'm buying it. I think now he has to. And that was
He
for
has
shit.
to. He has to. Plus, I want to see it as well. I'm with you. All right, we'll take a quick break, wrap things up, a little more, run it back when we return. Get in on all the NBA buzzer beater, ankle breakers, and tomahawk jams with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. The app's easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, find bets in the new Explore tab, make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So download the app and make your first bet and lay up. FanDuel, official partner of the NBA. Mañana, Darius Miles joins the show. Enjoy your Tuesdays, guys.